Hello guys, welcome back to the Renegade Dyspraxic YouTube channel. This is your host Alex, and in today's video I would like to talk to you about setbacks. Now, whether you have dyspraxia or not, setbacks are unfortunately a common part of life, in that if you are striving towards achieving some goal or project or what have you it is, you're going to likely receive a setback along the way. It's just part of life. I think everybody pretty much will receive setbacks, yet what determines the winners, those who carry on and actually achieve their goals, and compared to those who are simply dreamers, they perhaps make a little bit of effort towards their goals, hit some hardship or a setback, and then decide, you know what, it's not worth the effort, I'm just going to go back to the drawing board and dream again of what I like to do. Well, that second group of people will never really attain any real major success or whatever in their life. And worse still is that these people will often grow old and actually think that life is a lot harder than it really is, and they'll look upon their track record of uncompleted projects or incomplete projects and simply say to themselves, oh, I must be a loser or something. I know, unfortunately, it's not just dyspraxia, but many people feel like this, but you don't have to necessarily feel like this. The key, however, is to actually commit yourself to a goal. And when you commit yourself to a goal, the hard part is when setbacks do come about, you will have to literally just plow on through those setbacks. So if something bad happens along the way, example I can confess to myself, and an area which I've failed many times in, is when it comes to dieting. In the past, I have been on a few different dieting programs, and usually the program works quite well for the first week or so, and then something will upset me, or I'll receive some bad news, or just generally feel down in myself, and so go and comfort eat. And in the process of comfort eating, I'll simply pretty much damage the week's worth of effort in the process, and as such I'll kind of pretty much lose the motivation from that setback and just give up on the diet altogether, and hence go right back to the start, to where I am now, which is remaining a bit overweight. Thankfully, there have been other areas in my life, I can say, where I have carried on despite receiving setbacks and have actually achieved stuff I wanted to achieve. One of the ones that's come to mind recently is that, for those of you who don't know me, I'm actually a first Dan, which is basically a black belt in martial arts, and one called Pro Mai, which is a form of Taekwondo. And I will admit, when actually becoming a black belt, I actually failed my first black belt grading, and as such had to put up with the slight embarrassment and humiliation of going back into the class, and everyone not directly being told, but guessing that I failed due to the fact that, I didn't have a black belt around my waist, but instead I had what in our martial art is a probationary black belt, which is a black belt with a white line going through it. But anyway, I digress. The point of the matter is that I received that setback, but I didn't let it stop me, and I carried on, and the second time round I passed and got my black belt. Now, however, I know that for many of you who are watching who might be doing martial arts, especially if you are dyspraxic, I will say that although I've received a major setback in my particular martial art, which is a Taekwondo based, years beforehand I did a martial art which was Jiu-Jitsu. And for those of you who aren't aware, whilst Taekwondo is a Korean martial art, Jiu-Jitsu is a Japanese one. And the reason why I'm talking about martial arts in relation to setbacks is because when I was doing my Jiu-Jitsu, I spent about 3 years really struggling. I just couldn't master the movements, because there's a lot of techniques like what's called forward rolls, where you throw yourself forward into the ground and doing backflips and what have you. And to this day, I still can't do that. Thankfully, in the Taekwondo martial art I do, which is Pro Mai, we don't have to really worry about those sorts of things. But in Jiu-Jitsu, it was paramount to getting on from yellow belt to orange belt, and it's something which I still couldn't do, in part due to mainly having dyspraxia and not having the hand-eye coordination and therefore confidence to carry it out, I kept receiving setback after setback, and so ultimately gave up in the end. Which really comes on to the other point regarding setbacks, which is oftentimes if you are after some particular goal of some sort and you keep getting recurring setbacks over and over, and the setbacks seem to be over the same thing, whilst you always have the choice of carrying on and achieving what, hopefully achieving what you want, and that will hopefully be an inspiration not only to yourself but to those around you. You do also have the choice, however, of thinking, you know what, I'm going to take an alternative route, like I did, which was to change martial arts and pursue one which didn't, well, let's just say was more dyspraxia friendly for people like myself. So yeah, basically, just to summarize in this video, when it comes to life, you're going to receive, expect setbacks. Sometimes if you're going towards goals which are worthwhile, it's going to be a case of 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. But the key is not to give up, is to carry on despite whatever setbacks may happen. I know it's hard. In one of the earlier videos, which I'll put a link to in the bottom, we discussed Kaizen, or taking small steps, which can also help. So yeah, doing things like this can help. And any questions, feel free to leave a comments in the comment section below, and I'll look for, and don't forget to give the video the thumbs up, and I will speak to you more in the upcoming videos. Till then, all the best. Bye bye.